I was exactly 1 year into stand-up comedy before the big sick. Starting off was brutal. I bet a lot of you think you're funny, but standing on stage and creating humor out of nothing is a lot harder than quoting vines. Bombing is one of the most humbling experiences a person can have, and I think I'm better than you for having that experience. You can't really embarrass someone the same way after they know what bombing is like. I was trash at stand-up until like 10 months in, and then I was slightly less trash. I was never really good on stage, but I knew some tricks. I want to analyze this set I did at the Ice House. I still haven't performed since the cough cough, but this was one of the last times I was performing. For a new comic, it's a big deal to get a show like this because we're used to performing in vegan restaurants and in backyards in front of 3 other depressed drunk comics, but this was a set in front of an actual crowd. So I walk on stage and do the easiest trick ever to get a reaction. One more time, give it up for Rudy. Now they're clapping and they don't really even know why. They like me and I didn't even say anything. So here I had my 5-minute set memorized back and forth. I was preparing for 6 months, but I decided to go risky and I opened up with some crowd work.
You guys look like 2 different versions of me. You've been getting shitted on all night for being millennials. You know what's funny? They're not even millennials, right? You're 21, 22. You're Gen Z. They're just trying to not die from climate change and antidepressants.
Looking back, that was the funniest shit that I said all night, and it was something that I thought of while nervously sweating, waiting to get on stage. Because there was truth in it. The last comic kept shitting on millennials for going on iPhones and Pokemon Go, but he didn't it was pissing me off so much that he got the name of the generation wrong. You can watch the rest if you want. It's okay. It's alright. It doesn't have any substance, or as Patrice O'Neal would say, righteousness. Race jokes are easy because white people are like, ah, I know a black guy, and everyone else is like, Asians do have squinty eyes. It's kind of hack. It reminds me of the King Batch vines from 2016 that set back race relations like 30 years.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yo, where's your dad?
He'll be back soon.
It's stupid and based on stereotypes, but it always works. I want to talk about that word righteousness because it sounds kind of out of place for comedy, right? People came to laugh, not to be lectured at by some dude. Because it's true, if you focus too much on telling truth, it starts coming off like a pyramid scheme. But stand-up comedy is different than King Batch vines because after 20 minutes, you can't use any gimmicks. It's just you, a mic, and the crowd. You have to tell the truth or else anything fraudulent is going to be exposed. That's why it doesn't work on Zoom and you're sick if you did those shows because there's something magical about real interaction and you can't recreate it. You could say the most foul shit, but because it's in person, the audience understands your real intention. That's why it never made sense to me why journalists will go to a show and start jotting down notes and then make an article quoting like, I can't believe he said that. Like, if you really meant that, the audience would know. Like, yes, you're putting on a show, but anything fake is gonna be exposed. 6 months ago, I made this video talking about how I was applying for this editing job for Andrew Schulz. You know what I'm talking about? Look at me. That dude is one of the funniest comedians in the world right now.
And you said pressure? What'd you say?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Thank you for saying that out loud.
He set up this competition like America's Next Top Editor with semifinals in the final round, and I kept having to apply this. It was this big deal. It narrowed down from like 1,000 to 3 people to 1. And I talked about how I really wanted to get this job in a previous video, and I never talked about how I actually did win the competition. It was a lot of work. I spent like 3-4 days editing these videos for free, submitting them, and he posted them online. And when I won, he offered me $50 per clip. And not even Andrew Schulz, his camera guy, told me that. He knew what it meant to me, he was aware of what I do, and he still offered me a disrespectful amount of money. And not even him, his cameraman. So I said no, camera guy said aye, and that was it. Never spoke to him again. It's too bad, it obviously wasn't meant to be. My friends told me to apologize because I'd sent like laughing emojis when I said no, but no. Some of my friends told me to ask for another offer, but the way he acted told me all I needed to know. And I just don't feel like simping for a guy just because he's funny and established. It's not worth it. Since then, I've been thinking a lot about what separates a guy like Andrew Schulz from the best of all time. The top 5 for me being Patrice O'Neal, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Bill Burr, and George Carlin. He has the same ability as them. He can literally make people fall over in their chairs laughing. It's amazing to watch, but I couldn't figure out what was separating him from GOAT status, which might come. In stand-up years, he's still really young, but right now, he's arrogant. He knows he's funny, he thinks he's smart, and it comes off on stage. He doesn't try to get personal with his comedy, he doesn't try to talk about something that matters deeply to him. It's all just a show, which is what people paid for, but that's to me what separates good from great. There was this moment on the last Joe Rogan podcast where Joe really tries to get Dave Chappelle to co-sign Andrew Schulz because he knows how much it'll mean to him. Dave Chappelle just doesn't give the cosign, just doesn't do it. He tries and tries and tries, but it doesn't bite. He's just like, it's not for me. That's not for me. And it made me so, I was in the car like, oh my God, thank you, you fucking Waluigi looking cunt. That's what you get, you cocky bitch.
He figured out a way to do internet, Instagram, 10-minute comedy.
Like you say, that's not stand-up.
No.
Like this thing that you're describing, God bless him.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. You know, I could throw a slideshow and the shit if I want to, but that crowd's not there. What's the fucking point for me?
It takes pain to make great art. The flashy and loud is entertaining, but it's not timeless. It's really the same for any art form. The best is based on emotion. An established New York comedian who I'm not going to name drop explained it perfectly to me. Schulz will get on stage and talk about how Trump building a wall is a good thing because when you go to China, what's the first thing you want to see? The wall. And it's funny, but the basis of the joke is that he's manipulating the audience into agreeing with an idea that they dislike. It's not about truth. It's like, look what I made the audience laugh at. They like the wall now. They don't even like Trump. I made these idiots like the wall. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing I sound salty because I was offered $50. And I am. Lesson learned, social climbing is never going to establish a real relationship, and you're almost always going to end up mad or hurt. I can't blame him too much for dismissing my work like that because even though it meant the world to me, it was probably 3 seconds of him looking at his phone and never thinking about it again. I was in my head for weeks like, how could someone do that? And then I remember like, oh, I do that all the time to people in my DMs and they definitely feel exactly the same way. And I know they do because then they upload videos whining and exposing me, talking about how fake I am and oh shit, is that exactly what I'm